Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So my name's Katie and today we're going to be doing my June TBR. So this is sort of a TBR of two halves because for the first half of the month my TBR is going to be my studying. So I have a big stack of notes which is downstairs, so I can't go and get it, but yeah, that will be my studying. It will be all my reading that I'm doing, although I might just read a tiny bit in the evenings of some of my fiction books because you can't revise 24/7. But then the last half of the month I will be free and so I'm planning on reading lots of like chunky fantasies because yes, it will be the holidays, so I will have all the time to read, and I feel like I find chunky fantasies a lot easier to read in the holidays just because you have more time and you can just feel like you're getting through it faster, so it keeps you motivated. So yeah, I'm really excited for the month of June. Well, slightly scared because exams, but also very excited for June, and it's Pride Month as well. Yeah, so also be on the lookout for some Pride Month themed videos coming up. But yeah, so anyway, on my TBR. So first of all, book club books. So for Sorcery and Stardust, we are reading The Unspoken Name by A.K. Lockwood. And I've read this one before. I feel like I've read all the Sorcery and Stardust picks before. It's just me wanting to push my agenda on everyone else. Yeah, I'm reading this with Tammy from Tammy Tries to Read, who is one of my best booktube friends. So if you're not subscribed to her already, definitely go and do that. But yes, we'll be reading The Unspoken Name. And I'm really curious to see what Tammy thinks of this because I get Gideon the Ninth vibes from this, and Tammy also loves Gideon the Ninth. So I'm curious, and it's sapphic. And it kind of follows this girl called Sorcery, and she's been brought up in this sort of cult, and she's been raised to like be sacrificed on her something birthday, or I think it's about her 14th birthday, to this monster called the Unspoken One. But then the night before, she kind of gets taken away by this like traveller, and he sort of rescues her and raises her as like his apprentice. And then it kind of switches to later on, and she gets sent on a mission to hunt down this artifact. So yeah, it's very interesting. There's some really great characters. I especially love, there's like a sort of sibling bond between Sorcery, the main character, and another character called Tal, who's sort of been brought up together. And I love them. Their like banter is hilarious. And also I think that book 2 might be like Tal's book, and Tal is a really funny character. He reminds me a lot of Hero from, what's it called? The like really written series, yeah. So I'm really excited for this one. And then for the Chaos Rising book club, we have another chunky one, and that is The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. It's only 600 pages, which sounds like a lot, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So yeah, Tammy also loves this one, and I know Lena from Sufficiently Advanced Lena also loves this one. So I'm very excited to see what I think of it. And I've heard that it kind of reads a bit textbooky, but I often kind of like those, although Tracer Barry Corman I didn't like so much. But generally I'm a big fan of info dumps, so I can see myself really enjoying this. And also I know that book 2 has like, I think, a hot female villain, so I'm just here for that. But yeah, I'm excited to see what I think of this one. And also I'm not sure if I've ever read anything by Ken Liu specifically, but I've read a lot of his like translated stuff, so other authors he's done the translation, and I really like all of those, so hopefully I like his writing. So that's that one. Then another chunky fantasy that I want to try and make a start on / finish. I'm not sure I'll finish this by the end of June, but that is Wrath by John Gwynne. So this is the last book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. So I've read all 3, Malice, Valor and Ruin already, and I'm excited for this last one. How many pages is it? This one's like nearly 700 pages. It's quite big, but I'm really excited to see how it ends. And I always forget how much I love these characters, like especially Veridus, who is a disaster bisexual himbo, and also Camlin, who is like emotional support dilf. Yeah, just read it for those 2 characters because they're my faves. And also Corbin, who's the main character, and he's pretty much like a standard fantasy main character. But in the first book, he's this adorable little cinnamon roll. He does kind of grow up, but the first book he's so cute. And it's also get like POVs of like villains, so some characters who I really hate. So yeah, I'm just excited to see how everything wraps up. Yeah. Okay, then a final chunky fantasy is An Echo of Things to Come by James Islington. And this is the second book in the, the Lycanius trilogy. So I read The Shadow of What Was Lost in January and I really enjoyed it. But I've never got around to book 2 because they're quite chunky and I've had lots of other things to read. Yeah, I haven't. This is also like nearly 700 pages, which actually it kind of looks bigger than that. But I don't know, I really enjoyed this. I like the characters, they're a nice little gang. And I'm excited to see where things go. From what I remember, the first one, it's kind of these Argos who are like a type of magic, but then they like are under really strict rules, and like the Argos, like the magicians are under strict rules, but like the Argos were these really powerful magicians and they kind of disappeared. But and now they're starting to come back, so there's like magic's coming back and there's all sorts of like conspiracies afoot. And there's some characters who are a bit like out of time maybe, but yeah, especially one of the characters, Caden, I really like him. I'm excited to see what's next. It's just a really sort of epic fantasy, and it says on the cover like fans of Brandon Sanderson, and I feel like that's very true. Yeah, I just enjoyed the series, so I'm excited to continue. Okay, and then some audiobooks I want to get to. So Fool's Fate, which is the 3rd book in the, what's it called? The Tawny Man trilogy. Yes, so Golden Fool was a ride, which is the 2nd book. I've never wanted to bash my head into a wall so many times while reading a book. It was a very stressful reading experience. Fit's just, oh. I'm really excited for Fool's Fate. And I think I've heard, I sort of know what the ending is, and I'm not sure I'm going to 100% like it, but knowing that there are 3 more books in Fitz's series, then that makes me excited. And also just some other things, I've heard that there's a lot of like Fitz in the Fool moments, so I'm hopeful. Yeah, and also I really like some of the other characters, like Dutiful, the prince, I love him, and Catrickin, the queen, I love her. Chade is also a very interesting character, which I think, I don't know as much about Chade as maybe I should because I haven't read the original ones. Now they're sort of being vague because there's not spoilers, they're sort of going somewhere with a little group, and I'm quite excited to see that group dynamic. That's all I'll say. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. Another audiobook that I want to read is Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier. So I bought this one because it was on sale. You know, Audible do those like £3 sales. So I got this one because I really wanted to try a Juliette Marillier book, and this one was the one on sale, so I got it. Originally I was going to start with The Harp of Kings, I think, because the audiobooks are narrated by Moira Quirk, who does the Gideon ones, but this one was on sale, so I got this one first. And I feel like I've heard that this one is actually a good place to start with her books, so yeah, I went for that one instead. But I'm really excited to see, and I've heard it's like Celtic maybe, and it's like quite foresty, well I'm assuming, with the title like Daughter of the Forest. Which I love, and like forest magic I always love, and I think it's kind of fantasy romance, so I'm excited, and I've heard really good things about her books. I know nothing about the plot. I don't know if it's maybe 7 sisters, I might be getting that confused with something else, but I will report back on the plot when that comes out. No, is that the right word? When I read it. So yes. Okay, then I also want to read, which, this is getting way too ambitious by the way, I'm never going to read all these books in like the last week and a half of June. Yeah, so I also want to read Witch Shadow, which I've just started. I've read 10% so far of The Ark by Susan Dennard, and this is the 4th book in the Witchland series, and I really enjoyed this series. It was like a really good kind of friendship / sister bond between Safi and Iseult, who are the 2 main characters. It's one of my like favourite fictional friendships, and I love all the side characters, and the magic's really cool. It's like, it's kind of a bit Avatar-y, like it's quite elemental, but then there's also extra powers, like Safi's a truth witch, so she can like tell when people are lying, and Iseult's a thread witch, so she can like see the threads of people and like their emotions and like their ties to others. So that's really cool, and I guess I can't really say anything about the plot because it's the 4th book. But it's like Iseult's book, so far like book 1 is Safi's book, and then book 2 is Merrick, who's another one of the characters. He's like a prince book, and then book 3 is Aiden's book, and he's like this blood witch who can like follow people, like once he's smelt someone's blood he can like find them forever. And then book 4 is Iseult's book, so I'm very excited. Because I love Iseult, she's probably my favourite character. She's like so kind of quiet and like reserved, but she's also like so strong on the inside, and I just love those kind of characters. So yeah, I'm very excited for that one. And the final one that I want to read is Catalyst Gate by Megan O'Keefe, and this is the final book in the Velocity Weapon series. What's the name of the series? I think is called The Protectorate. So yeah, so I read Velocity Weapon in April, and then Chaos Spectre, which is the second one, in May. So, and the last one comes out in June. So I'm hoping the audiobook comes out, because I've tried to like pre-order it, but it's not available to pre-order. So we'll just have to hope it comes out, because I've been really enjoying the audiobooks. And yeah, I'm very excited to see where this one goes. The plot, I'm assuming, is going to be very different from like book one, so I guess I won't really say anything about the plot. But I really like the characters. The main kind of two characters is like a pair of siblings, and they have pretty separate storylines, but it's nice just following both of them, because I always love just like siblings. And yeah, some interesting things happened in book 2, so I'm excited to see certain characters meeting back up and finding things out. So yeah, that's that one. So yeah, let me know in the comments a book you're really excited to read in June, or which book you're excited to hear my thoughts on out of the ones I've listed. And if you want me to spew any random medical facts at you, ask in the comments, because that's all my brain's full of at the moment. So yeah, so I hope you're all having a great reading month so far, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see you next time.